Okay, y'all. So Blueface went on Jason Lee's podcast to discuss like him getting out of prison, baby mama drama, and of course the one and only Chrisean. Now let me just say he first started off by, telling Jason that their relationship was like a partnership, which we know she started off in Blue Girls Club. But he was like making it as she was like an intern and that she was very grateful. And then it grew from that. So Jason asks him, he's like, do you believe that you had a part in the circus, basically? And Blueface just trying to bring up, oh, well, she did try to set me up or whatever, and that's just her character. And even, when I got out, he was like, now that he knows who she is, he definitely believes that she tried to set him up. And Jason was like, well, do you not believe that you have a part of like how she was? And Blueface was like, oh, well, have you not seen how she is? Look how she is. And he's like, I haven't really seen much of her. Clock it, because the only time that Chrisean was so toxic and out of her mind and drunk and acting crazy was when she was with Blue. We know that. This arrogant loser was like, obviously she's not as global as she was then than she is now. First of all, she's doing way better than she's ever been with you. So for him to try to take the credit is crazy. Then he was like, Jason was like, you have to admit there is some obsession that you've had with her. And he was like, absolutely not. But he does feel like he has credit for where she's at, which you were a stepping stone for her. And I feel like you're mad because she continued to grow and you're no longer there. You're no longer a part of her growth and where she is going. And you are clearly still obsessed with her because you're still trying to make everything about her. Narcissistic behavior. And I love how Jason clocked him. He was like, it doesn't matter how low your tone is, the shade is still there. And that's a lot of what narcissists try to do. They think because they're not acting erratic and yelling and screaming that they're not being offensive or they're not shading you, which in reality, you can still be talking negatively and aggressive to somebody in a nice tone. You can still know how to get under somebody's skin in a nice tone. And that's what he used to do on that show that they had on Zeus. Try to make her look like the bad guy, but the whole time you're antagonizing her. So he did admit to being in love with her at one point in time. But Blue, you do not know love. You don't know what love is because you don't love yourself and your mother never loved you. And then he goes on to say that she basically didn't take her with him when he took her everywhere, when people like his manager, Whack 100, even though he didn't say that, people were telling him to leave her alone and stop taking her places. And then he's seen whenever she was on her own thing, she didn't take him nowhere. Yeah, that's because she grew and she realized what type of dude you was and she was done with it. Then this ignorant dude gonna sit up there and say they did a stream with Aiden Ross and he smelled her seat after, and basically it's coming after her hygiene. First of all, that's disgusting. Aiden, you're a nasty dude if you really did that, and y'all are trying to come for a woman's hygiene. And it's like it's narcissistic behavior. You're trying to literally belittle this woman. I'm sure you don't smell the best. You was looking like trash too, still do. Always got your shirt off looking dusty and musty and crusty. Face look like a drawing board and all. Who knows what type of STDs you got? You sleep with everybody. And not to mention, if it was really a hygiene problem, you're still sleeping with this woman every night. You have her living in your house. And if you felt like maybe she wasn't raised right and she didn't know how to shower or bathe correctly, that's your responsibility as her man, the closest person to her, to be like, hey, babe, let me help you out with your hygiene. But you didn't do that. Instead, you let people make fun of her. That shows a lot about your character. Flawed. Then he wants to talk about when he was in prison that she wasn't there for him. But I know that just like I seen multiple people seeing her on the phone with you, making calls, talking to you, having to get off of certain platforms to get on the phone with you while you were in prison. And you were talking to multiple women. Not to mention when you got out, you was already with somebody. Also went back and said that Chrisean Jr. is not his son, and Jason was like, but you already claimed him, and he was like, well, it was just a part of the storyline, a part of the plot for people to watch Crazy in Love. And I don't believe that, because they did do the paternity test. His mother is still saying that that is her grandchild, and it's like, you're doing these things to be hurtful, to be spiteful. You think that you're the prize. You are very sassy. You're not the prize, and she has moved on. Now, all of a sudden, this isn't your baby. That baby looks like you. We even seen when he took the baby from Marsh. And it's like, if that's not your child, why are you taking so much responsibility for this child? Like, it doesn't even make sense. He has an agenda and he tries to play like he's the good guy, and you're not, Blue. You're not fooling anybody. But this is what he does, and people who follow him and believe him are actually delusional. You can clearly see since she stepped away from him that her life has only gotten better. Her son is getting better. Like, it's just so crazy that Blue is the main source of where all this negativity online is coming from. And to go online and go on the Jason Lee show and to just discredit all the hard work that she's done by trying to take all the credit for yourself, it shows just how manipulative and controlling you are. And also with all the other women. He also brought up Nevaeh, which I'm not going to get too deep in, but he's thinking that all these women are using him and saying that they have babies by him and all these things. The difference is, Chrisean is the one who made it out, and you're mad, and you're going to continue to be mad about it because you're nobody and you're not going anywhere. You will never find another Chrisean that you were actually worldwide known. You both were worldwide known. You can't do that with Nevaeh. You couldn't do that with Jaden. You can't do that with Stunna Girl. You can't do that with any of those other girls. So what do? You continue to throw dirt on her name, and she's going to continue to prosper. I cannot stand men like this. And you will reap what you sow. At the end of the day, you can continue to throw dirt on her name, but she's doing way better than you are, baby. And anyone who even believes or agrees with Blueface in this situation, it shows how sick and demented you are. Stop trying to replay somebody's past. You met her when she was in a lost and a broken place, and you are the one that kept putting the bottle and drugs and alcohol in her face. We've seen it on Crazy in Love. She would be crying and going through things, and he'd be like, just take a shot. Because he wanted the show. He wanted to get a rise out of her. He wanted to make content. And that's where he messed up at. Because once she got up out of that, now you have no grip, you have no control. And guess what? You're a loser, and you'll always be a loser. You need to get the help that you need from a counselor or whatever, and you need to heal from what your mom did, because you treat every woman like trash because your mother is trash. And she didn't treat you right. But y'all, go watch their interview and let me know what y'all think, because I don't care how calm and smooth Blueface tries to talk. You can see a devil right through him. You can see it. You can see the narcissist behavior. You can see the controlling behavior. He thinks that he's literally the prize. Oh, all these women want me. They want what I have. Like, boy, that's why Chrisean used to say that, because you are who you hang around. That's why she always be like, oh, people are trying to get clout off of me. She learned that from you. So, yeah, that's all I got to say. That interview literally pissed me off, and I pray that if Chrisean sees that it only motivates her to keep going with her son. You don't need Blueface. You never did. And you were destined to be on top, because if you weren't, you wouldn't be now. And it had nothing to do with him. He may have helped open up a little door, but that door that you went through also caused a lot of heartache and turmoil on your life, but you still made it through, and God still has a plan for you at the end of the day, and it is what it is. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, especially if you've ever dealt with a narcissist, because I know I have.